Bold and beautiful 2-week spoilers January 26th to February 6th. Sheila falls for deadly trap while Ivy loses control. Bold and the beautiful 2-week spoilers for January 26th through February 6th suggest Sheila Carter, Kimberlyn Brown, is deceived and Ivy Forrester, Ashley Brewer, is going to go berserk about something. Bold and the beautiful spoilers for Monday, January 26th. Dylan and will land in compromising position. On Monday, January 26th, Melissa Dillon, Sydney Bullock, is swearing to Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace, that she'll absolutely respect her relationship with Will Spencer, Crew Morrow. She promises she won't overstep or touch his kitchen again. Electra is going away on a business trip, so she is certainly concerned about Dylan staying at Will Spencer's while she is out of town. Despite the promises she makes to Electra this week, Dylan sees Will lifting weights, shirtless out on his deck. Of course, she can't help but stare while he is putting on the gun show. Finn, Tanner Novlin, accidentally causes Will and Dylan to spend time together. It looks like Finn drops off Hayes Forrester Finnegan, Brian Garlick, at Will Spencer's house. Perhaps he needs to get to the hospital, and Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, the nanny, and Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig are all unavailable. Obviously, he doesn't have a choice. They're going to be stuck babysitting together, and that's where things start going downhill this week. Electra is happily surprised when Steffi tells her there's a change in plan. She's going to be going to San Francisco with Electra to meet with several people. This involves jewelry line business for Forrester Creations. For whatever reason, I think Ivy Forrester is staying back and Steffi is going in her place. I know that she's going to be keeping an eye on Will for Electra. B&B spoilers. Carter's big gesture and a surprise visit on Tuesday, January 27th. On Tuesday, January 27th, Carter Walton, Lauren St. Victor, wants to talk to Daphne Rose, Muriel Hilaire, about all the big plans he has for their future, which includes a wedding and a family. I'm curious if Carter is going to tell Daphne how many kids he wants. They may start those baby-making plans right away. Carter has a big gesture planned for this talk. He sets up a romantic dinner for himself and Daphne in the showroom. Plus, Will and Dylan are busy doing a craft project with Hayes this week. They're making little paper lunch bag puppets and bonding. Electra's take on this will likely be that it was inappropriate for Dylan to help babysit. Steffi and Electra are getting ready for their jewelry presentation. They are meeting with wealthy socialite Dottie Bright, Morgan Fairchild. Dottie was a very good friend of Steffi's grandmother, Stephanie Forrester, Susan Flannery. Also joining them will be Dottie Bright's assistant, Joseph Jim J. Bullock. Scandalous moments and guest stars on Wednesday, January 28th on Bold and the Beautiful. On Wednesday, January 28th, there is an incident at the beach house. For some reason, Dylan is practicing dance in the living room. She's in ballet clothes, including a leotard and a sheer skirt. She winds up in Will's lap with his hand on her leg, and their faces are close together. It looks like they're about to kiss. This might be down to editing in the promo, but Electra's Aunt Ivy is lurking outside the beach house. She's looking in the window, which is a bit creepy, and she thinks she's seeing something scandalous between Dylan and Will Spencer. Ivy will definitely tell Electra, though I suspect the moment may be innocent. They're also going to have a rich buyer stopping by to visit Steffi and Electra. They're going to be seeing Harmony and guest star Spencer Pratt. I mentioned before that some sites are reporting Spencer Pratt is returning as the character Rich, but that's inaccurate. Spencer Pratt made his soap opera debut on Bold and the Beautiful last spring, playing himself alongside his wife, Heidi Montag. I suspect he'll be playing himself again as a wealthy buyer looking for a piece for Heidi Montag. Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, urges R.J. Forrester, Brian Nicoletti, to come back and work on designs with his dad, Ridge Forrester, Torsten Kay. Brooke knows that Ridge misses having a partner to design with now that they forced Eric Forrester, John McCook, out, and Thomas Forrester, Matthew Atkinson, decided to go back to Paris. Over at the Logan estate, RJ comes in from a swim. and Brooke is happy to see her son back in her house. Bold and the beautiful spoilers. Ivy confronts Dylan and Elektra opens up on Thursday, January 29th. On Thursday, January 29th, Ivy comes at Dylan hard. She blasts her and confronts her about the close moment she saw through the window with Will. I'm sure Ivy's also going to tattle to Elektra as soon as she's back in town. Elektra, while out of town, opens up to Steffi Forrester about her concerns regarding Dylan. Elektra will likely say nice things about being a good friend and wanting to help her. As I've noted, Elektra acts sweet to everyone else, but when it's just her and Dylan, she is much more aggressive. B&B spoilers. Ivy's ultimatum and a romantic spark for Deacon on Friday, January 30th. On Friday, January 30th, Ivy orders Dylan to leave Los Angeles immediately. It is a bold move to tell someone to leave town, but I'm sure Elektra will be on board with it. I don't think Will Spencer is going to agree, however. Sheila expresses her gratitude for Taylor saving her marriage to Deacon Sharp, Sean Cannon. Sheila is still oblivious to the fact that Taylor and Deacon are falling for each other. Sheila tells Deacon they're lucky to have Taylor in their lives. However, Deacon Sharp and Taylor Hayes share a special moment on Friday, and it looks like they may finally kiss. Bold and the beautiful February sweeps. Sheila's suspicions and Eric's secret fashion launch. The week of February 2nd through the 6th is our first full week of February sweeps. Will may not like the way Ivy is treating Dylan. Ivy remains adamant, and once Elektra returns, she will find out what Ivy saw. Elektra will likely want Dylan kicked out of the house and blackballed, believing her trust has been abused. Elektra is expected to agree with Ivy's ultimatum. Plus, Deacon and Taylor are playing with fire. All heck will break loose when Sheila finds out about them. Eric and Katie Logan, Heather Tom, are picking up the pace at Logan. Eric has an entire collection ready to put into production for a fast-track launch. Sheila's spidey senses start to tingle, and Steffi also suspects things are not as they should be with Taylor. Steffi is going to grill Taylor again about Deacon. Meanwhile, Hope Logan, Annika Noel, may loop Brooke in on Deacon's new love interest. Brooke wants Taylor to find her destiny, so if she thinks it's Deacon, she'll likely support the pairing. Finally, Ridge and Brooke are curious to know the identity of Katie Logan's lead designer, leaving Donna Logan, Jennifer Garais, stuck lying to protect the secret. Elektra is expected to agree with Ivy's ultimatum. Plus, Deacon and Taylor are playing with fire. All heck will break loose when Sheila finds out about them. Eric and Katie Logan, Heather Tom, are picking up the pace at Logan. Eric has an entire collection ready to put into production for a fast-track launch. Sheila's spidey senses start to tingle, and Steffi also suspects things are not as they should be with Taylor. Steffi is going to grill Taylor again about Deacon. Meanwhile, Hope Logan, Annika Noel, today's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful delivers a heartbreaking, pulse-pounding hour that leaves fans shaken to the core. Just when it seemed the storm around Sheila Carter Sharp couldn't get any darker, fate deals her a cruel hand. Meanwhile, Ivy's simmering emotions finally boil over, pushing her past the point of no return. Betrayal, desperation, and irreversible choices dominate this tragic chapter, one that may permanently change the lives of everyone involved. A dangerous calm before the storm. The episode opens with an eerie stillness, the kind that longtime B&B viewers instantly recognize as the calm before chaos. Sheila, trying desperately to prove she's changed, appears cautiously optimistic. For once, she isn't plotting revenge or manipulating someone into doing her bidding. Instead, she seems almost hopeful. That hope, however, is painfully misplaced. Sheila believes she's finally earned a fragile sliver of trust. She thinks she's walking toward redemption, toward a future where she isn't constantly looking over her shoulder. But the tragedy of today's episode lies in one devastating truth. Sheila never sees the trap coming. The trap is set and it's ruthless. Someone close, someone familiar, Someone who knows Sheila's patterns, her fears, her blind spots. The deadly trap is not impulsive, it's calculated. Every detail is designed to exploit Sheila's deepest vulnerability. Her need to be accepted, to be believed, to be loved. She's lured into a situation that looks safe on the surface, but feels subtly wrong beneath it. The warning signs are there: long pauses, nervous glances, doors closing, just a bit too quietly, but Sheila ignores them. For perhaps the first time in her life, she chooses trust over suspicion. And that choice may cost her everything. As the trap snaps shut, the atmosphere turns terrifying. Sheila realizes, too late, that she's been outmaneuvered. Panic flashes across her face, raw and unfiltered. This isn't the calculating villain fans have known for years. This is a woman staring straight into mortal danger. The moment is chilling. The silence is deafening. And the outcome is horrifyingly uncertain. Sheila's most vulnerable moment yet. What makes this storyline so gut-wrenching is how human Sheila appears in these final moments. She pleads. She reasons. She even apologizes. Words we rarely hear from her lips. There's no triumph here. No dramatic monologue. Just fear. As the danger escalates, viewers are left wondering, is this really how Sheila's story ends? Has the show finally decided to close the chapter on one of its most infamous characters in the cruelest way possible? The screen fades on a haunting image. Sheila motionless, the aftermath unclear. Whether she survives or not remains a mystery, but one thing is certain. If she does live, nothing will ever be the same again. Ivy spirals out of control. While Sheila fights for her life, another tragedy unfolds elsewhere. One born not from a single moment, but from long-buried resentment and emotional overload. Ivy loses control. What starts as frustration quickly escalates into something far more dangerous. Ivy has been pushed, dismissed, and underestimated for far too long. Today, all that suppressed anger erupts in spectacular and devastating fashion. Her actions aren't premeditated. They're emotional, messy, explosive, and once the line is crossed, there's no going back. A breaking point years in the making. Ivy's downward spiral doesn't come out of nowhere. The signs have been there for weeks. Tight smiles, forced composure, moments where her eyes lingered just a second too long. She's been trying to hold it together, trying to prove she's stronger than the chaos around her. But strength has limits. Today, Ivy finally reaches hers. A confrontation turns heated. Words are said that can never be taken back. And in a moment that shocks everyone present, including Ivy herself, she does something reckless, something that may tie her fate forever to Sheila's tragedy. The realization hits her instantly. The regret follows just as fast. But the damage is already done. Guilt, fear, and consequences. As news of Sheila's situation begins to spread, Ivy's emotional collapse becomes impossible to hide. The weight of what she's done, or allowed to happen, crashes down on her with brutal force. She's not celebrating. She's not relieved. She's terrified. Ivy knows that the truth has a way of surfacing on the bold and the beautiful. Secrets never stay buried, and guilt always finds a voice. Every sound makes her jump. Every look feels accusatory. Her unraveling is painful to watch, a reminder that losing control often comes with a price far greater than expected. Shockwaves through Los Angeles. Sheila's apparent fate sends shockwaves through the entire canvas. Relationships strain instantly. Old wounds reopen. Some characters are haunted by unresolved feelings, while others quietly wonder if they could have prevented this tragedy. Finn, in particular, is left reeling. His complicated connection to Sheila resurfaces with devastating intensity. Love, anger, guilt, it all collides, leaving him emotionally shattered. Whether Sheila survives or not, Finn will never escape the impact of today's events. Meanwhile, whispers begin to circulate. Questions arise. And slowly, inevitably, suspicion starts to point toward Ivy. A tragedy that changes everything. Today's episode isn't just sad, it's transformative. The kind of storyline that reshapes alliances, rewrites motivations, and sets the stage for months of fallout. If Sheila survives, she may emerge more dangerous than ever, or completely broken. If she doesn't, her shadow will linger over every character involved. And Ivy? Her loss of control may define her future on the show. Redemption won't come easily if it comes at all. Final thoughts, a heartbreaking turning point. The Bold and the Beautiful delivers one of its most emotionally devastating episodes in recent memory. Sheila falling into a deadly trap is tragic not just because of the danger, but because it happens at a moment when she dares to believe she could be more than her past. Ivy's emotional collapse adds another layer of heartbreak, proving that unchecked pain can be just as destructive as calculated cruelty. Today's very sad news leaves viewers stunned, conflicted, and desperate for answers. One thing is clear. The ripple effects of this tragedy will be felt for a long, long time. Relationships strain instantly. Old wounds reopen. Some characters are haunted by unresolved feelings, while others quietly wonder if they could have prevented this tragedy. Finn, in particular, is left reeling. His complicated connection to Sheila resurfaces with devastating intensity. Love, anger, guilt, it all collides, leaving him emotionally shattered. Whether Sheila survives or not, Finn will never escape the impact of today's events. Meanwhile, whispers begin to circulate. Questions arise. And slowly, inevitably, suspicion starts to point toward Ivy. A tragedy that changes everything. Today's episode isn't just sad, it's transformative. The kind of storyline that reshapes alliances, rewrites motivations, and sets the stage for months of fallout. If Sheila survives, she may emerge more dangerous than ever, or completely broken. If she doesn't, her shadow will linger over every character involved. And Ivy? Her loss of control may define her future on the show. Redemption won't come easily if it comes at all. Final thoughts, a heartbreaking turning point. The Bold and the Beautiful delivers one of its most emotionally devastating episodes. Today's Bold and the Beautiful news is the kind that leaves fans heavy-hearted, conflicted, and bracing for fallout. What began as quiet tension and unspoken emotion has now exploded into something far more devastating. Dylan and Will, two characters whose lives have already been tangled by secrets, jealousy, and poor timing, have landed in a compromising position that could shatter trust across multiple families and permanently change the landscape of Los Angeles's most powerful circles. This isn't just a scandal. It's a slow-burn tragedy finally reaching ignition. A storm that's been brewing for weeks. For a while now, viewers have sensed that something wasn't right. The lingering looks, the awkward pauses in conversation, the way Dylan and Will seem to orbit each other, pulled together by circumstance yet pushed apart by guilt. Every interaction carried weight, as though both knew they were walking a dangerous line, but lacked the strength or clarity to step back. Dylan, sharp and strategic on the surface, has been unraveling underneath. Pressure from work, fractured relationships, and the constant need to stay one step ahead have left her emotionally exposed. Will, meanwhile, has been struggling with his own identity, expectations, and the crushing reality that every move he makes reflects on the Spencer name. Neither set out to hurt anyone. But Bold and the Beautiful has never been a world where intentions are enough to save you. When two emotionally vulnerable people lean on each other at the wrong moment, disaster is rarely far behind. The night everything changed. The turning point came quietly. No dramatic music at first. No explosive confrontation. Just two people alone when they shouldn't have been. What was supposed to be a private conversation turned into something far more intimate. Walls came down. Confessions were whispered. Emotions spilled over, blurring the line between comfort and betrayal. And then, in a cruel twist of fate that only B&B can deliver, Dylan and Will were discovered in a position that leaves little room for innocent explanations. It wasn't just what happened, it was how it looked. Close, vulnerable, too close for comfort. In this world, perception is everything. And the perception of Dylan and Will together could be just as destructive as any actual affair. The weight of guilt sets in. Almost immediately, regret followed. Viewers could see it written across their faces. Dylan, usually so composed, looked shaken, like someone who finally realized the cost of playing with fire. Will's reaction was even more heartbreaking. The guilt hit him hard and fast. This wasn't excitement. It wasn't triumph. It was the crushing realization that they may have crossed a line they can never uncross. In one fleeting moment, everything they'd been trying to protect, relationships, reputations, family bonds, felt like it was slipping through their fingers. The fallout no one can escape. The real sadness of this storyline lies not just with Dylan and Will, but with the people who will inevitably be hurt. Trust is fragile in the bold and the beautiful, and once it's broken, it rarely heals cleanly. Whoever walks in on them, or hears about what happened, won't just see two people seeking comfort. They'll see betrayal, disrespect, a deliberate choice. For Will, the consequences could be enormous. His family has always demanded loyalty and accountability, and this scandal threatens to put him at odds with those who expect better from him. Being a Spencer means your mistakes don't stay private, and this one could follow him for years. For Dylan, the stakes may be even higher. Her reputation has already taken hits, and this situation could cement a narrative she's been desperately trying to outrun. Once whispers start, they don't stop, and in Los Angeles, rumors spread faster than truth. Why this feels so tragic? What makes today's news especially sad is that neither Dylan nor Will is painted as a villain here. This isn't a story of manipulation or cold-hearted scheming. It's a story of weakness, of timing, of two people who needed support and found it in the worst possible place. Bold and the Beautiful excels at showing how emotional isolation can lead to devastating choices. Dylan and Will didn't wake up intending to cause pain, but intent doesn't erase impact, and the impact of this moment could be irreversible. Viewers can't help but feel sympathy even as they brace for the consequences. The silence that speaks volumes. After the incident, the silence between them is deafening. No reassuring words. No promises. Just the unspoken understanding that everything has changed. That silence is where the sadness truly lives. Because deep down, both Dylan and Will know they can't go back to the way things were. They can't pretend this moment didn't happen. And they can't guarantee it won't happen again. In B&B, once emotional boundaries are crossed, the damage lingers long after the scene fades to black. Will this tear couples apart? Fans are already speculating about who will pay the highest price for this scandal. Relationships that were already strained may not survive another blow. Partners who've been sensing distance now have a tangible reason to doubt. And even if Dylan and Will swear nothing really happened, will anyone believe them? History suggests otherwise. On the bold and the beautiful, emotional betrayals often hurt more than physical ones. The idea that comfort, vulnerability, and connection were shared outside a committed relationship can be impossible to forgive. This could be the beginning of multiple breakups, not just one. A turning point for both characters. From a storytelling perspective, this moment marks a crossroads. Will must decide who he wants to be going forward. Someone who owns his mistakes and faces the fallout, or someone who hides behind half-truths and lets others take the blame. His next move will define his character for a long time. Dylan, meanwhile, is staring down a reckoning. Will she finally confront her emotional patterns, or will she double down and justify what happened? This could either be her lowest point or the painful wake-up call she's been avoiding. Either way, there's no easy road ahead. Fans react. Shock, sadness, and division. Unsurprisingly, fans are deeply divided. Some feel heartbroken for Dylan and Will, seeing two flawed humans caught in an impossible situation. Others are furious, convinced that boundaries were knowingly crossed and that excuses won't make it right. But almost everyone agrees on one thing: this storyline hurts. It hurts because it feels real, because it reflects how quickly lives can unravel when emotions override judgment. And because Bold and the Beautiful is once again reminding viewers that love, when mishandled, can be just as destructive as hate. What happens next? The big question now is whether the truth will come out willingly or be dragged into the light by someone with their own agenda. Secrets never stay buried in this world, and the longer Dylan and will hesitate, the worse the explosion will be. Will someone overhear a confession? Will guilt push one of them to come clean? Or will a rival seize the opportunity to expose them for personal gain? No matter how it happens, the reckoning is coming. Final thoughts. A very sad chapter unfolds. Today's Bold and the Beautiful news isn't just shocking, it's genuinely heartbreaking. Dylan, and will landing in a compromising position, feels less like scandal and more like a quiet tragedy unfolding in real time. This is the kind of moment that changes
Bold
characters
and the
forever.
Beautiful.
A week of reckoning. Los Angeles is simmering, and the forecast for the residents of the Forrester, Logan, and Spencer dynasties is anything but sunny. As we dive into the heart of January 2026, the stakes have never been higher. For years, Sheila Carter has been the predator lurking in the tall grass, but the tables are turning in a way no one, least of all Sheila, saw coming. While the Queen of Chaos walks blindly into a meticulously laid emotional snare, a different kind of storm is brewing at the beach house. Ivy Forrester, typically the voice of reason and elegance, is about to reach her breaking point. Hold on to your seats. The drama on the Bold and the Beautiful is about to explode. Sheila's fatal flaw. The trap of friendship. For months, Sheila Carter has been operating under a delusion that might finally be her undoing. She believes she has found a true ally in Taylor Hayes. In Sheila's mind, Taylor is the savior who fixed her marriage to Deacon Sharp. She's been singing Taylor's praises at Il Giardino, even thanking the psychiatrist for keeping her family together. But what Sheila doesn't know is that Taylor and Deacon aren't just sharing therapy sessions. They're sharing a soul-deep connection that is rapidly crossing the line into a forbidden romance. The setup, a game of shadows. The deadly trap Sheila is falling for isn't one made of tripwires or physical danger. It's an emotional ambush. The facilitators, Hope Logan and Deke Sharp, have become the ultimate matchmakers. Convinced that their father is essentially a hostage in his own marriage, they are actively pushing Deacon toward Taylor. The deception. Every time Sheila smiles and thanks Taylor, the guilt and the chemistry between Taylor and Deacon grows. They are being lured into a false sense of security, believing they can keep their feelings hidden until they find a safe way to break the news. The silent witnesses. Finn and Steffi are watching from the sidelines, terrified. Finn, knowing his mother's history, sees the countdown to chaos ticking away. Sheila is walking into a trap of her own making. She has placed all her trust in the one woman who is inadvertently stealing her husband's heart. When the veil is finally lifted, the today very sad news won't just be about a broken marriage. It will be about the inevitable carnage that follows a Sheila Carter betrayal. Ivy Forrester loses control. Scandal at the beach house. While Sheila is distracted by her domestic bliss, a different kind of fire is burning at the Forrester beach house. Ivy Forrester has returned to the canvas with a sharp eye and even sharper instincts, and she's about to ignite a firestorm. The compromising position. The tension centers on Will Spencer and Dylan, the former art teacher who has been staying at the beach house. While Electra Forrester is away in San Francisco on a high-stakes business trip with Steffi, Will and Dylan are left alone. What starts as a simple craft project with young Hayes quickly turns into something Ivy perceives as a betrayal. From the shadows outside the window, Ivy witnesses a close moment between Will and Dylan. Whether it was a lingering touch or a shared look that lasted a second too long, it's enough to send Ivy over the edge. The confrontation. Ivy has never been one to sit back when she feels a Forrester is being wronged. On Thursday, January 29th, Ivy loses her characteristic cool. The ultimatum. Ivy corners Dylan, blasting her for overstepping boundaries and disrespecting Electra's relationship. The town ban, in a move that shocks even the most seasoned drama watchers. Ivy demands that Dylan leave town immediately. The fallout. Will Ivy's protection of Electra actually drive a wedge between the couple? Will May not appreciate his aunt's interference, especially if the moment she witnessed was more innocent than it appeared? A legacy of danger. Can Taylor survive Sheila's rage? The most heartbreaking aspect of this current storyline is the looming threat over Taylor Hayes. Spoilers suggest that as Deacon and Taylor prepare to share a passionate, real-world kiss, moving beyond their shared fantasies, Sheila's spidey senses are already tingling. Sheila's devastation will turn to rage. She credits Taylor with saving her marriage, which means she will feel doubly betrayed. This isn't just about a husband leaving. It's about a friend stealing him. We've seen this movie before. Sheila has shot Taylor once, an accident at the Forrester mansion years ago. If she pulls the trigger this time, it will be with lethal intent. The sad news fans are bracing for is the possibility that Deacon might jump in front of a bullet intended for Taylor, or that Finn and Steffi will be caught in the crossfire of Sheila's ultimate mental break. What lies ahead? February sweeps. As we head into February, the deadly trap will spring shut. Eric's secret. While the families are distracted by Sheila, Eric Forrester and Katie Logan are secretly readying a fashion launch that will blindside Ridge and Brooke. Carter's proposal. Carter Walton is planning a massive gesture for Daphne Rose, involving a romantic dinner and talk of a family. But Daphne's secrets are a ticking time bomb of their own. The Bold and the Beautiful is delivering a masterclass in suspense. Sheila is vulnerable, Ivy is volatile, and the consequences will be permanent.